Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we've got the update today for the NB4 Pro Plus. This one's styling the Gundam skin. Thanks again to guys at Sky. Thanks to Flysky for sending me the transmitters. But we have a new firmware. This is version 1011 I believe on this one. Yeah, we got 4 different versions of NB4 all on 4 different versions of firmware, so it gets confusing. Again, this is going to be one where you're going to have to make sure you match your firmware that you download to either EN, EU or CN. But yeah, let's bring in for a close-up look and see if we get any weirdness with this one. So again, for this one, I'm using the lightweight base, USB base from Sky. Just makes my job a bit easier with updating all these transmitters. And especially trying to get the screen to show up somewhere near my little Lenovo Legion Go so I can get it all on one screen for you. But what we need to do is plug it in and turn it on. So once we've got this on, you're going to want to go to your system menu all the way down to bottom. That'll tell you which version you've got. So we're on 107 standard. And we've got a Pro Plus running EU firmware. So if we drop off that, next you're going to want to go to flysky-cn.com, click on products, click on surface, and then we're going to want to find our NB4 Pro Plus. So if we click on that, downloads and upgrades, we can see we've got the new firmware FCC version or standard in both EN and EU. We've got an EU transmitter and I run the standard firmware. Only difference between the FCC and standard is FCC is slightly longer range but drains battery quicker. Standard is normal range and you get longer battery life. And for me, I've not had a problem. I also take it to proper tracks, so I don't want to be running higher power than what we're permitted. So we match as software up. We've got standard EU, so I'm going to download that. When it asks us where I'm going to save it, I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to go to my Assistant V3 folder, and we've got a Noble Pro Plus folder in here. I'm just going to save the firmware updater to that. We've also got the release notes for this, so if we quickly click on here, we can have a look. So 1011, and I believe on this one we've got a few more changes than what we had on the rest of transmitters. So we've got added low power mode function, fail-safe function can now be enabled or disabled. You do get pop-up window. You can set race mode, which is same as the other ones, so it just dulls down the alerts from the alarm for low signal and telemetry. Optimize the period of powering on, so apparently it turns on quicker. Modified throttle mid to throttle prop, so you can preset the throttle proportions. Modified custom area to show throttle prop. Modified default assignment that TR2 forward back is assigned from throttle trim to none as standard. Then we've got the failsafe options. Modified stick calibration, so it then shows you the previous calibration so you can see if anything's changed. Modified signal alarm, RX feature for new telemetry loss, so we've got the telemetry loss bit. Does say as well, don't use backups from old versions of Assistant, they won't work, and make sure you calibrate your sticks when done. So yeah, we got all that. The release notes are on the page if you want to download them. Download links to Assistant V3. 3.3.5 is at the bottom for both Mac and Windows. So you need to download that and get that installed. I have done a video on how to install this new version of Assistant and explaining that it does work in offline mode as well, just for backing up the model memories. So once we connect this, you'll see your transmitter just flash briefly. We can then double click into as transmitter, click as export, load Model TX. So this will quickly load as memories up. You can select them. If you press next, you've got the other extra 5. You can either select all, or you can just select the ones that you want. I've got a lot going on this, so I'm going to extract them all. Then what I like to do, so I know where the backup is, I go to my desktop, assistant folder, Noble Pro Plus, and save it into there. And usually if assistant's going to crash, it'll do it with first few seconds of starting to do the backups. They do take slightly longer, the NB4 Plus and the Pro Plus, due to mine slightly more memory. They've got 25 model memories instead of 20 of the original transmitters. But as I've said in my other videos, I don't like to cut these bits short. I like you to be able to see exactly what's going off and how long it takes. Purely because it does help people if they're getting stuck. They can watch it in real time and see exactly how long it takes to do this process. Must admit, I am really liking the Gundam skin on the transmitter. The little lightweight Flysky base, they come in really handy. I've also got one of the other more chunky bases. They are nice if you want to use them as a emulator controller as well, especially with the USB port coming out the front rather than the back, so it's pointing towards your PC rather than away from it. Does make life a little bit easier. One thing you will notice with how long it takes to back up these model memories, this is one of the reasons why I suggest not to use Assistant for anything other than backing up memories. If you try and do the firmware update, I have had it succeed, I've had it fail, and then had to redo it and it succeeds, but it does take an awful long time compared to just updating your transmitters normally through the standalone updater software. So I highly recommend just using the updater software. Although if it is confusing you with the EN and EU and whatever, you can use Assistant if you want. I would give it at least 20, maybe 25 minutes for Assistant to update the firmware. I think I did show on one of my videos ages back, but that video ended up being over 30 minutes long because it just takes way too long compared to the actual updater software. But we're not far off now. Should have his backups done. And it is important you use this new version of Assistant to do the backups. If we look on this page, we can see that we've got EU version 107. We can click on firmware update, as 1011 is available on this one. So you've got both the FCC and the standard. For me, I'm not going to use that because it takes far too long. I'm going to go into his folder that we downloaded. So Assistant V3, NB4 Plus. Then we've got a standalone updater software and as backup of our memories. So now I'm going to go onto the transmitter, go to System menu, Firmware Update, click Yes. Wait for the transmitter to restart. Once it's come up and it says Do not operate during firmware update, you can then open your standalone firmware updater. You can see it's detected the transmitter straight away, saying ready for update. Hardware version 1.1, software 107. The new version of the software will be 1011. So basically, we just need to click update. And if you're doing this through Assistant, as I say, give it a good 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. Some points on Assistant, it seems to stand still forever. On this, we're already up to 21%. It's now erasing flash. Up to 30 odd percent. 41%. It is so much quicker on here than actually doing it through Assistant. We're now changed to programming Flash. Anybody that's done anything with these Flash chips, you know you have to erase them first before it'll let you write new firmware to them. And this is why it erases the model memories as well. When it's a major software firmware update like this, it will erase the model memories. But it seems though you've got to plug it into a PC to do firmware update, and it only takes a few minutes more to back up and restore your actual model memories. So I've never really seen this as an issue. It is always a good idea to keep your model memories backed up. If you write your transmitter off, if you buy a new transmitter, if your friend buys a transmitter, it's really handy to have model memory backups, especially if you've got a really complex crawler. If anybody would want me to share any of the model settings that I've got, I should easily be able to share them. Especially for the TRX4 and TRX6. We've got some really complex setups on them with a lot of lighting and everything. And it does read out what the diffs are doing and everything on screen, which is nice. Really, really nice feature to have. But yeah, if anybody'd like me to share any of me model backups, I'd be more than happy to do that for you. I can make them available. The one thing I would say is don't have any of your servo horns on before, if you're just going to chuck one of my model memories on your transmitter. When you power it up, make sure all your servo arms are actually took off so your servos can find what position they need to be in, and then you can safely set your endpoints. Don't want you burning servos out. But it is really useful, especially having something like this little Lenovo Legion Go. Just being able to carry it to take it to track and swap model memories, update people's transmitters, really does come in useful. And of course, once you've got these firmware updaters downloaded, you do not need to be online to back up model memories or run the actual standalone firmware updaters. These are fully offline versions. To me, it just makes it a bit safer when you're updating if it's using something that's completely offline. It's one less thing that your internet goes off and it bricks your transmitter. Can restore all these transmitters. I've done it for a few people. Especially people seem to like killing PL18s at the minute. Not sure what their what this week's favour is with the PL18s being writ off, but I've had to help a few guys recover them. We're currently at 79%. I don't think it'll be much longer, and this should be fully done. As I've said already, I don't like to cut these videos short, because as you see, it does pause at certain times and it does jump at others. And if somebody's trying to follow it for the first time, it's reassuring seeing it in real time. How long it actually takes to do it and how it behaves while it's doing it. And it's just verifying Flash now. So it says update successful, transmitters disconnected and rebooted. So we do get the new model failsafe menu pop up. You can disable that. It does show now that it's fully updated. We've got the new version, so we can close all them. First thing I would do is go back on the transmitter, go to system, then scroll down to stick calibration, click yeah, and we can recalibrate our forward and reverse, and as left and right, and it does show you the last calibrated values.
Calibration successful.
So we get calibration successful. It has reset as model memories. So now we just need to reopen Assistant. Wait for his transmitter to be detected. We can click on it, go to import, load model memories, just need to go back. So I'll drop to my desktop, assistant folder, go down to his Pro Plus, click on his models. So you can see what you're going to be re-importing. Click on import, it'll pull them all into this software. You can now add them one at a time. You can add multiple ones at a time. You can move these around, change the order of them. If you click reset, it'll reset it. If you click all and then add, it'll add them all back. And you can go in here and juggle around and change them, do whatever you want. Once you're happy with what order you've got them in, just press OK. And again, if assistant's gonna crash, it'll do it pretty quick on here. So far, going through these, we've had the NB4 assistant crashed when I tried to reload the memories on the first one, but the Pro NB4 Plus and now the NB4 Pro Plus looks like assistant's behaving. So maybe it was just unhappy with me first time I loaded it up for the original NB4. But as I say, with these bits, copying the model memories back, if it does crash, just restart your transmitter, restart assistant, go back in, re-import your memories, and you can just carry on. It won't brick the transmitter or anything. The only one that I don't like doing through assistant is the actual software update itself, the firmware update. I'd much rather use the standalone updater. It is a little extra step, but it does update a hell of a lot quicker, and it is a safer way of updating the actual transmitters. And I just don't seem to get any issues using the standalone updaters at all. It just works really, really well. Now it's 75%, so shouldn't be much longer. Bizarrely, I've had a few people message me, which is why I'm doing something a bit different on these update videos, and I'm binding it back to an RC that's already on a memory slot. I've had a few people say the steering won't work once they've updated the transmitters, but up to now I haven't found that on anything. So we've got it all back on. So this one is definitely a problem. The steering doesn't work. So let's go into system. Go to calibration.
Calibration successful.
So, does calibrate it correctly? Definitely getting no input on the steering. Let's have a look, see what it's done. Channel number definition, that's still on 4. So shouldn't have an issue with anything on there. All set to PWM. Fail safes are all set to 3. Knows there's no iBus. So let's try a different model memory. Again, no steering, but yet we do get throttle. So let's try and bind it back to an RC and see if when we bind it back we get a steering back. So I've put our center into update mode. RX set, bind set, classic, start bind.
Binding successful.
So yeah, we've got throttle, just no steering. Assign, nothing we can change on that. Auxiliary, nothing we can change on that. Endpoints are set correctly. So if we do reverse the steering, it does work. This is bizarre. Let's have a look. Steering curve. So it doesn't know that these any steering at all. So yeah, looks like once you update the firmware, it effectively bricks all your model memories. I'm not seeing anything we can do to bring this back other than reset the model memory. So that doesn't do anything to it. So it is set to the correct settings. It just doesn't work, and it looks like all the model memories are the same. So if we drop to as TRX4, yeah, although we've got everything functioning, it's also lost all the channel labels apart from diff open and close for the front diff. No steering, but we've got throttle. So if we go through to a blank model memory, on this one, it looks like it's completely errored out and the steering's locked all the way to one side. So if we go and reset model, then back out, yeah, we've got full functioning. So yeah, for me, unless you want to set all your models back up, I would strongly suggest avoiding this firmware update on the NB4 Pro Plus at the minute. It's completely balked, as in restoring your model memories. The actual functionality and all works, but you're going to have to set up every one of your models again from scratch. So yeah, on that note, I think it's time to wrap this one up. So there you have it, the NB4 Pro Plus 1011 firmware update. At the moment, I would avoid this unless you're wanting to set all your models up from scratch. You cannot import any of your models. I've tried this doing one at a time. I've tried it doing all at once. And these models are all backed up from the newest version of Assistant. So yeah, for me, I'd avoid this update at the moment. And Flysky, you need to sort your shit out, because this is crap. This is... how? It works fine on the other three radios, and then your top at range flagship, it bricks your model memories. Does nobody test this? But oh well. Thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.